What stopped you from committing suicide? Thoughts of my family. My dog. He sensed the change in hormones and knew what I was doing, so I sat and gathered my thoughts and went and sought help, which was hard to get. My, now, husband kept calling me, and interrupted the music I was going to kill myself to. I decided to do it the next day, but we saw each other and I forgot all about it. The city skyline looked beautiful that night. Why take the leap if I'd never see beauty like that again? My dog. Could not self-terminate. Well, I couldn't strangle myself because I was literally too fat and it squished my skin instead of my throat. Have not figured it out yet. But something is. Knowing that my parents went through all that shit having to deal with me when I was younger. Also, whenever I start getting those thoughts, I stop and think about the people in my life, like my family, my close friends and my girlfriend, and how devastated they would be. My brother. Not because I didn't want to leave him, but because he rushed me to the hospital. Family guy and a good friend. Someone or something said, "It is alright" at 2 AM, and I was all of a sudden calm. Now I do my dream job and help people. It failed. I learned that it's contagious and easier for family members to commit suicide if another relative does it. Some of my nibblings were born that year. Their births combined. My friends and family staging an intervention got my butt in gear to get help. Choosing to live is the hardest thing I've ever done, but it was worth it. I don't want people to go through all my stuff, lol. Plus I don't want to leave a mess behind, and because dead bodies are kinda gross. Someone's gotta clean all that up, plus all the funeral costs, and I know that my family wants to do everything they can to help me, even if they don't really understand how I'm feeling. I'd feel bad for giving up since they haven't given up on me yet. It would hurt the people I love too much. I don't know if I could have gone through with it anyway, but I asked my friend what she would say to me if she knew it was the last thing she could. She came to get me to make sure I wasn't alone that night. Fear of the consequences if I fail. Really the only thing keeping me here. And now, the local CMHS pretty much gave up on me with "We'll have someone call you." It's a great feeling. My own stubbornness. My friend did it first. Huge number of people showing up at his funeral made me rethink my place in other people's lives and how a huge gap remains after losing a single man. I do not want anybody is left with such a gap in their lives if I do it. My dog. One time as a joke I sneaked to my balcony while he slept to see how he'd react when he woke up and realized I wasn't there. I figured he would think I left and go wait at the front door. He didn't. Instead he started frantically searching for me at my usual spots. Bed, couch, chair, bathroom. Over and over and over. Until he stopped and started howling/crying. I went in and hugged him and cried and apologized. Never would I ever leave him alone anymore. Human vitality. You probably won't die even if you try your best to slit your wrist. Your body knows better. A friend called me the moment I was ready to walk in front of an oncoming truck. I ignored her first call, declined her second, and picked up her third. All within a minute. She was going through some stuff and needed my advice. She has her life in order now, but we no longer talk. She never knew and will never know that she is the reason I'm still alive. I've seen kids crying out for parents who aren't there anymore. I will never let that be mine. Nothing. Removed. I overdosed last year. After I swallowed over 100 various pills, I woke up my boyfriend. He saved me. Almost a year later and we have a beautiful daughter. Still got to see the end of Vote. I'd make my older brother very sad. Also my wife and kids and my doggo would miss me. My best friend sent me the song All Yours by Tyler Childers, then he came to visit a little while later. Antidepressants, lots and lots of them. Stupidity. I'm as incompetent and trying to kill myself, twice, as I am in life. I'm not against suicide, at all, and who knows, I may try again at some point. At the moment I've some things to live for which, it's painful to have responsibilities, but I'm not at a low point and haven't been for almost 5 years. I'm older and have a support group of others, cutters, people with dark thoughts. We check in with each other and stuff. Never judging, more along the lines of, if anyone in our small group wants to end it, we'd understand, totally. We're more here just to know we're not crazy. Being suicidal isn't crazy. Sometimes the pain in living, something we didn't choose, simply isn't worth enduring anymore. But I digress. I jumped off a bridge but landed in silt, just under the surface, from a very high height. The other was pills. The bridge jump, instead of hitting what I thought was cement under the surface, I wound up stuck up to my armpits in mud, and some fishermen saw me cop the 90 feet. Other than being punched in the nuts, or feeling off and bruised, was fine and embarrassed. The pills I couldn't keep down due to trying to rinse them in with 140 proof vodka. If I were smarter I'd have used water, but I'm an alcoholic, and water tastes gross. I'm aware of a great way now, but I'm not going to type it here, one that will end the pain, without pain. Getting into professional therapy at the right time, having a trustful relationship with my psychologist, and finding the right antidepressants. From there I established something that remotely resembled a routine and built my life around. Sometimes, when stress levels peak, I still suffer from intrusive thoughts, but during therapy I learned how to deal with them. I don't consider myself suicidal nowadays. The administrative assistant for my middle school's guidance counselor's office made me feel safe, loved, and gave me hope. Her connection was the lifeline I needed while I was being bullied almost daily, and I was feeling almost worthless. Flash forward to the end of my senior year of high school, I hadn't seen her in years, and I see her outside of a grocery store walking to her car. The thought crosses my mind that I never told her the full impact she had on me, that she was a steady light in the dark, and in that moment I wanted to give her a hug and tell her that I hadn't forgotten her, and I love her. I called to her and she didn't seem to hear me. She was already getting into her car and seemed busy, so I made a mental note to reach out to her ASAP, even though this urge to go to her was so strong. A few days later, I saw in the news that she had committed suicide, leaving behind a husband and a son. Life really isn't fair, sometimes. I did reach out to her husband a few weeks later to tell him all of this, and I do believe it provided him with some comfort. I'd have rather told her, though. If only. After a couple of failed attempts I decided it wasn't something I was good at and moved on. Figure maybe I can cash in on all these years I've got before the cap I've set for myself. Do things I want before I reach that cap and make the commitment. Thinking about what might happen if I botched it. Hypoxia from failed hanging or pills causing brain injury. I also saw the end results from failed suicides with firearms. I was about to hang myself in my room but my dog walked in. She was a white angle of a dog and just sat there and looked at me. I kinda felt like she was wondering if I would do it. So I stopped, picked her up and we watched movies on the TV. Edit, I didn't come back to look at some of the comments. When I started to read them I realized I made a typo. Angel not angle. I'm going to keep it. My strong urge to move to another country in my life. I'm afraid of what will happen to my family because a family member said that if I died, they wouldn't know what to do with their life. Life is gonna off me soon enough anyways. Avenged Sevenfold, their music helped drag me out of my hellhole of depression and suicidal issues. I don't know. At the time I thought I chickened out, but really it was more of me coming to my senses. It seems wrong, but I feel like I have a purpose in life, and that purpose is to make people feel loved. I felt like nobody loved me, so in order to make a difference I needed to show everyone I love them. I've gotten a little more jaded over the years and decided not everyone is worthy of my love, i.e. people who actively ignore me or decide to complain about me behind my back, but I still think this is my general purpose. The second time was just me realizing I took bad cold medicine and probably should get food instead of drowning myself. Well, I have never thought about committing suicide actually. Never having suicidal thoughts to begin with. This is going to be weird, but realizing I had absolutely no one to talk to. I was completely invisible and no one had bothered to reach for months. I was also fighting with my boyfriend, so I couldn't go to him. It honestly broke me so much I just lost motivation to even kill myself. The aftermath causing an inconvenience for other people. A very strange coincidence. The day I was planning to do it, I met a fortune teller that told me things are going to get better.